Welcome to the three-step profit maximizer. My name is Natalia Nicholson, and I am the founder of Women in Digital Business. And I have literally failed my way to success. I have been in business since the age of 23. I'm now 43. So over the span of 23 years, starting in e-commerce, I have made a number of mistakes and had to go through an awful lot to really understand how to sell online and to really break through that six-figure bracket and make a success of myself and become, having that freedom of life in a sense that, I'm in control of my own life, my own destiny, and I get to reap the benefits from it, as do my family. So I really want to go to you with three major steps that I want you to really understand and wrap your head around that is going to really get you to increase income. Sometimes when it comes to marketing and when it comes to business, we can look at it very creatively. We are so creative and passionate about our own business. Sometimes we do need to bring it back to the stats, back to the numbers, but we also need to have a plan that goes with that. So, let's look at what makes most womenpreneurs fail. And fail is not a bad thing, guys. I don't know if you heard what I said. I failed my way to success. Failing is absolutely vital. We now live in a world that for whatever reason, we feel like a degree, a master's certificate, something from the academia world is what is going to help us get ahead and mean that we're an expert and know everything without making any form of mistakes. If you read any biography or anybody that's made it, even if you go back to references in the Bible, if you go back to mindset books, no one became an expert or became great at anything without making any mistakes. It's impossible. So it doesn't matter how many people might tell you, I've got the exact right thing for you, how much more studying you want to do. I'm not by no means necessary, and am I trying to say that you shouldn't study. Studying, reading books, qualifications, they are a form of knowledge. But how do you really become an expert? How do you become an entrepreneur? You have to make mistakes. Okay. And one of the things that a lot of womenpreneurs fail at is the customer acquisition part. It's the getting customers. You've all got great products or service. Your biggest problem is that your audience doesn't know about you. So if you're not visible and you're not being made aware of, how are your customers going to get to know you? So have you experienced similar results? Have you experienced that you've got everything that you need? You've got a product, you've got a service, but you're just not getting the customers in. You're not making them aware of you, and you're not getting any form of customer acquisition. Okay. The next two steps will greatly affect your monthly sales. So for those of you that are trading, I want you to really think about this and think about it strategically and start formulating a plan. You're going to get very many aha moments within the next hour. For those of you that haven't started your business, actually, you're in the best position. Take heed. Understand what it is that you need to think about and how you need to structure your strategy, and also keep you in check and in line with the numbers. For those of you that have got a business running, you already know that once you start getting customers, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10, which means you've now got a viable business, it's so easy to lose sight of the actual numbers because you've got so many other things to concentrate on. So the three-step profit accelerator is going to teach you three things: to how to increase the number of your customers, increase the transaction size and frequency, and increase the purchasing. These are really core things that sometimes often we really forget about. We are so focused on the sell, even bringing our prices down, the sell. I just got to get the customers in. If I get the customers in, more people will know about me. I need to get more customers in. That we're not thinking about how to increase the number of customers, how to increase the transactions, how to increase the frequency, which is increasing the purchasing, which is doing what? Increasing the profit. So imagine your business like this. Let's say you have a product and that product costs $100. Okay. So that product costs $100. You have 500 customers a year. So what's that giving you a year? That's giving you $50,000. And with this, you should be clear on what your goals are. We get so caught up writing these business plans. So we write a business plan for a funding institution because we did a business course for the local college or a government initiative, again around academia. We go on to Google, we search for business plans. And it's funny, the structure of the business plan was formulated by universities, education establishments that have never run their own business. Okay, that's the irony about entrepreneurialism. So we write this business plan out, and what we tend to do is we tend to really forget about the numbers. We tend to forget about what the goal is, what is the aim, what's the objective. So for where you are now, think about what is your objective? What's your objective for this year? Is it to just, break even and be able to make your survival budget, meaning that you can pay your rent, you can put clothes on your children's back, you can put food in the house? Is it that you need to start paying back the investment made to your business? Is it that, you want to go on holiday 5 times a year and you want to buy your holiday home? I don't know. It looks different for everybody. Okay. But think about what your goals are. You should be really clear on what it is that your business needs to do. So you understand actually how much you need to sell products for, and how many customers you need, and how much money you need to make within the next 12 months. So you are developing a business strategy wrapped around your goals. Now, I can't cover everything in 1 hour, but make sure for all of you that are not in our Facebook group to make sure you join that Facebook group. Community management team will put it in the chat now. Make sure you join the community group. These are the things that we cover. These are the things that we're going to challenge and probe you about and really be your cheerleader. You have to understand what your goals are. So you know what your goals are. So you know that your product's $100 or your service, your customers, you've got 500 a year. So you know you bring in 50,000 a year. You know that's what you're doing or what you're aiming for. But what we're not looking at as women entrepreneurs is, okay, what happens if we increase our customers? Okay, so many of us are in a minus. Many of us are not producing the income that we want to choose, that we want to have. So how do we get there? And think about it. If you were to increase your customers by 1,000 customers and your product or service is £100, what are you doing? Now you're 100 times 1,000, which now means your income just went up by 100,000, just by you thinking about, okay, my aim is to go from 0 to 10 customers. My aim is to go from 10 to 50 customers. My aim is to go from 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 200, 400, 600, whatever numeration that you want to go in. But think about the number of customers that you need and how much more you need to increase them to bring income in. It's a numbers game. It has to be a numbers game. Your strategy has to be built around what it is that you need. Because if your business is not filling your objective and your need, what's the point? It's just vanity. So, and what we often just completely bypass and don't think about is the frequency. So you've got 1,000 customers a year. They're buying from you. Your product or service is weighs 100 times. But how often are they buying from you? Maybe, you're selling the frappuccino and the waffles and the dessert. Sorry, that's the one that was left on my mind because I'm hungry. For those of you that are on this workshop right now, how frequently are people buying from you? How could you increase that frequency? Maybe it's a loyalty scheme. Maybe it's a discount on the next visit. Maybe it's an app to make ordering more efficient. So the better service you're giving means the more the customer is going to visit you. It's all about frequency. How often do they need your product or service? Have you got a product or service that is just a one-time product or service, and actually once they've bought it or consumed it, they don't need anything else? Maybe you need to expand your product range. So increasing frequency is really, really, really key, because imagine if you had 1,000 customers a year and your product or service was $100, but they bought from you twice a year. What did you just do? You just doubled your income from 100,000 to 200,000. So look at your business. Look at your business now. Look at your business you're about to start. You're about to scale, no matter where you are in your journey. And think about the frequency of people needing to buy from you. Okay? You could be selling a marketing service. Some of you on here are marketing consultants and you sell some type of freelance service. So let's say you were a graphic designer, and let's say you design graphics for people's e-commerce stores. Okay, but then once their website's up and running, which is what you mainly create images for, you take photographs for, You know, they don't need anything else from you. So maybe it'll be an idea for you to also offer after that a discount for you to design their social media posts going forward, because they're always going to need the frequency on that. I'm putting things out the air now, people, but I think you get my point. Increase the frequency. Some of you have already got a product range. Some of you might sell something that actually maybe it's a face cream, and that face cream only runs it will only last 30 days, so people have to keep coming back to you. But what are you doing to make sure they keep coming back to you and they're not going to try another product? Okay, maybe it's a subscription model. Increase the frequency. It looks different for many of you. Okay, and again, these are the things that you get to use our community for, to be able to really bounce ideas off of us. Okay, you get to bounce ideas off of us so you can get real-time feedback. I cannot stress it enough. If you haven't joined the group, Women in Digital Business Facebook group, join it. This is a group that exists for you. It exists for women that feel like they're limited, that feel like they're going through, imposter syndrome. They feel like they're, the programs, the communities they're a part of, they're not understood culturally. Use it. Use us. I've set this community up because I wish there was something for me when I was growing. I felt out there. I felt on my own. I did not feel understood. And I very much felt definitely like I wasn't a part of a lot of the communities that I was in. So frequency, okay? Now I want you to think about your transaction size and what increasing your transaction size actually looks like, okay? So this is really, really important. And fast food industry does this really, really well. So you've got your 1,000 customers a year, okay? But let's say now your product size is $200. And then they're buying from you twice throughout the year. So now you've got $200 times your 1,000 customers times 2, because they're bought from you twice in the year. Your income's just gone up to 400,000. You're now nearly at 500,000 just by increasing the transaction size. So upselling, maybe you have got a face cream, but maybe now you're offering a whole spa day and a do it for you service with the face cream that has now meant that that goes with the product, that means now it can double in size. Think about when you go to McDonald's. Would you like to make that large? 30p extra. You've now got large fries. You've got a large drink. Okay, you can supersize it. Maybe you go in there and you can't afford a supersized meal. Guess what? There's a value. There's a super saver menu where you can now just get a burger for £1. Yep, fast food industries understand how to upsell, downsell, and cross-sell to make sure that in every single scenario, every single customer, and we're going to look at this more, they've offered a package that fits them so they're not leaving money on the table. Okay, so think about transaction size, think about your business, think about your business model, and think about the transaction size. Okay, think about what else you could sell to make the transaction size bigger. Think about what you can upsell, think about what you can downsell, think about what you can add on, think about how you can give more value. Okay, your customers, one customer could come to you and they've got the £200 budget. Another customer could only have a £100 budget for what they're looking for in terms of what you're selling. Somebody else might have only £50. Make sure you've got different transactions and you've got different offerings to make sure that you can keep increasing the transaction size. Because can you see what it does to your bottom line figure? Okay, and some of you might be thinking, yeah, but my business model isn't like that. And it might not be. One of my bear bugs when starting off is that I would join a lot of programs and communities, and the examples were always given around coaching and consulting. And that was great because actually I am a coach and a trainer. But actually, when I started in this business, I started out in e-commerce. My first business was an e-commerce. It was a bookstore and a music store. And my business that is still running now that really brought me into the digital world is an inspirational gift store. So when you're in e-commerce, sometimes things can look very differently. And I'm trying to give you as much examples as possible to make sure that you open up and you really are thinking about transaction size, just like you're thinking about frequency as well. But again, if you're struggling with that insight, make sure you use us as a community to bounce ideas off and ask questions. No question is ever a silly question. Even put it in the chat now, the community manager to hear, okay? But your transaction size and what you're offering is really, really important. So to get results, you need to have more customers, okay? You need to have more monthly sales by encouraging them to buy from you again and again. And you need to sell more products to increase that transaction value. It's really important that you have to start looking at it strategically. And you can do this even if your business model can only handle a small number of customers. This can be done. It doesn't matter whether your subscription, a small amount of customers, a product, a service, you know, whether you're in a physical outlet and you're still looking for customers online while you're diversifying into digital. This model can be used irrespectively of whether you're bricks or mortar, you're digital, you're a physical product, you're a service, a digital asset. It just doesn't matter. It's time to start looking at things from a real strategic point of view, looking at what your goals are, looking at how am I going to achieve it, and looking at what your offering is, looking at your pricing. You know, most businesses can actually put their prices up by 20%, and 99% of them will not be affected and they will not lose customers. But in the beginning, we don't have that confidence. Because that confidence is lacking, we feel like we have to pull our prices down because we just want to get the customers in, which means we're not valuing what we do. We have to value ourselves. We have to value our businesses. Because if we don't, how can we expect our customers to? So it's really, really, really key. This applies to no matter what. So let's look at it from just more of, I'm not going to use the word more realistic, but let's just look at it from percentages points of view and what that really looks like. You know, I jumped from, 500 customers to 1,000 customers, doubling a product amount from 100 to 200 to increase frequency of what they're buying, the transaction values, and numbers are bigger. So let's say you just increase your number of customers by 10%, just 10%. Whether you're at 0, whether you're at 100 customers, 1,000 customers, let's just say you increased it by 10%. So now your 100 customers is 110 customers. Your product is worth £500 or your service, yeah, and you now buy twice a year. So 500 times 110 customers, because your product is £500, okay, makes sense, times the frequency equals what? 110,000. So 110, by putting it up by 10 customers, can you see what's happened here? It's actually put the profit and the income up by $10,000. So even when you start to chunk it out, sometimes what happens is that we think and we look at things so big, they seem unobtainable. And little by little, you build your power. You just have to start setting targets for yourself small. So let's just start with 10%. And can you see the difference that it makes? And then what happens if you increase the frequency by 10%? So you've now got the 110 customers. Your product is $500. Okay. The frequency is 2.2 times a year. That's what it averages. It's going to average out by. What happens? You're now at 121,000. So can you see by these 3 things that you're doing, how you can constantly, you're raising 10% by the number of customers, 10% by the number of frequencies. So you've gone from 100,000 to 110,000 to 121,000, all because you've just increased, okay, the number of customers by 10% and the frequency by 10%. Guess what happens next? You increase the transaction size. Okay, so the transaction size is now gone from $500 to $550. Okay, you've got your 110 customers a year. Your frequency is now 2.2. But remember, you've put the product, you've added something on, you've added value, you've put the price up, you've upsold, you've cross-sold, whatever the model looks like for your business, but you've increased the transaction size by 10%. Even just adding value. I've worked with businesses that have just added a free gift onto what they're selling and then up the transaction size or put value on and introduce something else that goes with what they're selling and being able to increase the transaction size. So it looks differently for all of you, for all the businesses. But what's that done? It's given yet another 10,000. So we're now at 133,000. So we've gone from 100,000 to 110,000. Can you see what's happening here? For every time you're going up by 12%, 121,000. It's like your 11 times table. We're now at 133,000. So can you see that by increasing transaction size, frequency, and the number of customers you have, how much you could increase your sales, your profit line every single year? And that's doing it just at 10%. Okay, it puts it into perspective. It doesn't matter how small your business is, it makes a difference. It doesn't matter whether you've only got one customer, we'll double it to 2. Sell, increase the transaction size, increase the frequency with those 2. You're still going to keep going up and up and up. And little by little, you do build your power. And the more that you do that is the more confidence that's installed in yourself. And you just start to see yourself grow and grow and grow. But you have to have a plan and a strategy to understand and implement, how it is you're going to get more customers, more frequency, and increase that transaction size. Okay, it is really, really simple. But let's not let the simplicities fool you too much. It's just like we all know what to do in life, don't we? But actually doing it can be really, really difficult. So the 3-step profit accelerator has smaller steps that you need to follow to make it work. You can see what I've explained to you is a framework. Because how you increase your customers, how you increase the frequency, and how you increase the transaction size is going to mean that you are going to have to do something and have a strategic plan in your business to make sure that you're doing that, to make sure that you can see the increase in numbers. It's not just as simple as saying, oh, well, I'm going to double my product size, but you're just going to put the product up by 100%. It's not good enough to do that. You do have to look at your customer, the marketplace, and understand how will I package these 3 steps together to make my customer buy more from me and buy more frequently, and how will I get more customers? Okay, so that does need to be looked at for you to be able to make what I'm saying successful. And we do that through a customer value journey. It's time to step your game up and get more strategic. Big corporations understand this. You take your customer on a journey, and that journey is all about building relationship and building trust. You see this like going into communities or DM people or being on WhatsApp and just saying, you know what, this is what I do, this is what I'm selling, buy from me. Many businesses struggle from this form of marketing, this form of sales, because it doesn't work. You have to build a relationship. And to build a relationship with your customer, you're going to have to carve out a journey to take them on, because you're taking them on a journey that is building up trust so they can make the decision to buy from you. Because understand, not every time you're selling is your customer ready or willing to buy. Okay, really, really, really important. So let's look at the customer value journey. So the customer value journey is a map. And anybody that wants this handout, again, make sure that you join the Facebook group. This will get sent out on a replay, but if you want a copy of this where you can actually fill it in, make sure that you go into the Facebook group. So again, all of you have got great products or services, but what's the problem? No one knows who you are. So the very first thing that you need to do in your customer value journey is make your potential customer, make what we call in marketing, your prospect aware of you. Okay, how are you going to do that? And to do that, you need to think about, where is my audience hanging out? In this digital age, there's so many channels. We often just confuse ourselves, by the way. We confuse ourselves massively with wanting to have presence on every single platform going. So we want a podcast, we want to do, Clubhouse. That's the new thing that's come in. We're on Facebook. Yes, it might be dying out for older people, but most of the world is still on it, unlike any other platform. Instagram, owned by Facebook, which has become bigger than Facebook, and Facebook is one of the giants, very visual. TikTok. TikTok's really new. I need to start doing some more reels. My audience doesn't hang out on any of these. They really like news. They're authorities, so they're on Twitter, they're on Reddit. Maybe they're on smaller communities. They're not even on the major social media platforms. So I need to make sure I start having a presence in these places. It just gets out of hand. So really think about, who is my audience? And what you need to do is really think and understand, who is my audience? Okay. Our strategist on our team said something to me once. She's actually on this call, Edna, and it's just stuck with me always. You need to understand and know your customer better than they know themselves. Okay. And when you say it, it's laughable and it's a big ask because it's not like it's your brother, your sister, or someone that you grew up with. But it's your job to get to know them as much as you possibly can, better than they know themselves. It's so true. If you don't understand who you're selling to, how can you market or build a relationship with someone? It's really, really important. You must understand on a deeper level who it is you're selling to. And there's help that we're going to give you at the end of this workshop that's really going to start making you think more strategically to make sure that you can get ahead and you can really do a deep dive into understanding who your audience is. Because it sounds simple, but oh boy, it's not. So know who your target audience is and you want to make them aware of you. Think about where they are hanging out. Maybe they're looking for you. So maybe they're going to find you through search engine optimization. Maybe they'll find you through Google, through Bing, through Yahoo. Obviously Google being the biggest search engine, but maybe they're looking for you. Maybe they don't know about you and you need to educate them. So they're on social media. So you have to do some social media marketing, whether that's paid or organic. Think about their interests. Video is on the rise. 80% of people consume video more than written words and blogs. Does that mean that blogs on the decline? No. Suppose your audience is a journalist. Journalists love to write and read and they don't do videos. So you wouldn't really want to then start creating necessarily a YouTube channel. So just think about your audience and you want them to make them aware of you. So think about what platforms are they hanging out on so that you can find them to make them aware of you. Because the only way that you're going to increase your customers is that you're going to have to find them and understand where they're reaching out. Maybe it's in the car park after school. Maybe it's not even online. Okay, you look at your own business and products and service. What we do as a community at Women in Digital Business is we are great at giving you strategies and framework that you adapt to your own business. Because no matter what anybody tells you, you cannot follow somebody else's system and get results. You have to have your own system. But what we can do is give you loads of strategies and framework. Okay, next you need to engage with your audience. And engaging is something that is always going to happen at every single part of the customer value journey. Okay. Engaging happens at every part of the customer value journey. And engaging is actually the tool that is going to help you connect with someone. We are in the digital age. We are now using smartphones, tablets, laptops. Gone are the days where we're walking into shops. We still are. Frappuccino, there's someone on there that's very much got bricks and mortar business, and you've got that advantage, by the way, so use it. Think of ways of how you should be engaging more with your customers if you have got a physical shop. But for many of us in this digital world, that's been taken away. This pandemic has seen people just working from home. In this country, in the UK, people that are working for big organisations like banks, British Gas, they are working from home. The world's changed. We are now more so than ever communicating through tech. So the 5 senses have been removed. Sight, touch, smell, taste, hearing. They're being removed. We're doing this through technology. So the only way that you're going to really be able to connect with someone is to build that relationship through physical hardware, smartphones, laptops, tablets. So understand that engagement is critical. Engagement is so important in this customer value journey because it's what's going to connect you to your audience. And it's also going to help them to make their mind up whether they're going to buy from you or not. The communication is two-way as well. So what will you do to communicate with them? Would you build a community? Okay. Maybe it's a Facebook group. Maybe it's your own online platform community. Maybe it's a LinkedIn group. What will you do? Okay. Really, really, really important. Think about how you engage. Will it be through surveys? Will it be on a social media platform, giving them an outlet to talk about what you're doing? But engaging is you really understanding their pains and their challenges and talking around your product and your service and the marketplace and what's going on in the marketplace and being able to really connect with them. Your job is to understand where they are now and what does life look like experiencing your product and the pains and challenges they have around it. You need to be producing content that is educational, not promotional. Okay? Once you're engaging with them, it's going to give you a lot of stats and analytics for you to find out more about who your prospects and your audience is. The more you find out is the more that you can create, change the product value, because you're knowing more about them and you're figuring out their pains and challenges. So you understand what maybe an add-on can be to increase that product transaction, to increase the frequency. You need to get to know your audience, and engaging, having two-way conversation and communication with them is a sure way to do that. Okay. You then want them to subscribe to you. You then want them to give you your email address, maybe connect with them on Messenger so you can communicate through chatbot, maybe their cell or mobile number so you can send text campaigns out, because subscribing to you means that you can now keep communicating with them over and over again. Because remember what I said, not every time that you're selling is somebody ready to buy from you. So subscribing means that now you can keep nurturing the leads that you've got to then make sure that you sell. So when you want to increase your customers, the more leads that you're getting on board means the more chance that you've got to keep converting more customers every month if you've got a stream of leads coming through. So now you need to make sure your prospect has subscribed to you by offering them something of amazing value for something usually free or very low. So then now they're in your community, you can keep engaging with them until you cross them over into a sale, which means now you're converting. Now they trust you enough to take their credit or debit card out of their pocket and make a transaction. And that transaction is usually something called an entry point transaction, meaning it's something of low value that's going to build their trust, give them an opportunity to try you, because really what you want to do is upsell. You want to take them up an ascension ladder. But before you do that, you need to make them excited. That excitement was what's going to increase their frequency. You need to, if you're selling a product or service, you want to onboard them. Okay. If maybe, and I keep drawing on examples. That's why I say at the beginning of the calls, let me know where you're dialing in from and what it is that you do, because I like to try and draw on examples of people that are actually in the group. So there's a number of hair people here. So to excite your audience, you might give them a card that tells them what type of hair type they've got and what type of vitamins or nourishment they should be using to have healthier hair. It's just an educational card. But what does that do? That makes them excited about being a part of your community and getting their hair done or using your products. So you want to excite them. You want to onboard them to what it is that you do. You want them to understand even more about you, your why, how what you do is going to change their life, which means now you've made them open to go up the ascension ladder. You're going to upsell to them. Once you've upsold to them, people are so amazed at what you do because you're all wonderful and great. What do? They tell other people. Word of mouth will always be one of the strongest pieces of marketing, offline or traditional. So now you've got people in your community that are telling other people, oh my God, look at my hair. I've used these products. My hair's grown down my back. Can you believe that? Reviews, people. Reviews, ladies. They are so key. And I'm guilty of it. For years, I would run sessions. And at the end of it, I've coached and trained for Google, for BT, teaching, businesses how to build apps, how to be more innovative, non-profit organizations, government agencies, upskilling local businesses. I've worked with so many different businesses, and I would always get great feedback. And do you know, for years, I just never used to ask for reviews. Even now, Google has sent me many places around the world, standing up and talking to audiences of people. And I think I've got one image of it that we often use, but I've been to so many different places because what was I not doing? I wasn't recording. I wasn't asking for reviews. And advocacy reviews are so key and important. But every time someone tries your product or your service, they become a part of your community. Always make sure that you're asking for that review, because that's what helps other people to come on board. So advocacy is really important. The people that are telling other people about you, what are you doing to make sure that they're telling more people and supporting them, because they are almost like an advertising platform for you. And then finally in your journey, it's all about, promoting. Maybe you'll have a joint venture, an affiliate program where you have a business model set up for people that promote and sell on your behalf, and they take a commission. But your journey needs to be mapped out. It's time for you to get strategic. You can hear this and think, oh my God, this sounds amazing. You can go onto YouTube, you can listen to other people in different communities. You can keep coming on webinars and workshops and getting really excited, thinking this is going to change life for me. But until you have a strategic plan and a system, you'll just keep going through that excited stage. And as soon as you don't see the results that you want, bam, it will just bring you back to a place of, let me try something new. And for many of us, you just always stay 3 feet from gold. That's what I called it. One of my favorite books, Think Rich, Grow Rich, that I always use at the beginning of the year. There's so many times when we are so close, but because we're not seeing the results, we just choose to get excited about something else and go and look for something else. And it's because we lack strategy. So for you to be able to increase your customers, for you to be able to increase your transaction size and your frequency, you have to have a strategic customer value journey to make sure that you can do those things and you can see the benefits of them. It's not just about raising the price. And I called it technology meets psychology. In fact, this is exactly what I do for my own digital business. Okay, I've produced about 50 customer value journeys. My e-commerce business, the same. This is exactly what we do. This is what myself, my team, this is what we do. And we build out big strategic plans and funnels, because the bigger that you grow is the more analytics, the more data that you've got, that you just keep getting better and better and better at it. So this is not something that's from a textbook. We have done this. I am living proof. My team is living proof. Women in Digital Business is living proof that this works. Okay? There you go. And then inspirational gifts. It took me a long while to figure out my customer value journey. I'm going to keep it real with you. Physical products and e-commerce can be slightly different. And that's why in anything that we do, we keep telling you to make sure you come back to our Facebook community. Because sometimes some of you will have business models that you get stuck. The analogies don't seem that simple to you. And you feel like, but how do I apply that to my business? My business isn't quite the same. I hear a lot of people say this to me, especially for business to business, especially if they're a charity or community interest company. It works for no matter what business that you are. So all these ads that you see, if you're a course creator, if you're a membership site, it's the same theories, but because you can see that it's specific to what you do, it makes you feel more secure about the information. You have to be able to take control and start trusting yourself and taking strategies and frameworks from communities like Women in Digital Business and have the confidence to wrap it round and adapt it to your own business. Okay, so pricing was a problem for end-to-end inspirational gifts. My price was too low because I was manufacturing. I had the margins to give it away. And when I practically did that, my audience was like, hang on a minute, you can't get a luxury product for that price. I don't really believe it. It's too good to be true. Not understanding my audience. Not understanding my audience means that I'm trying to connect with an audience and make them aware of me when they're not even hanging out on that channel. Not knowing them means that when I'm engaging with them and we're putting content together, I'm not connecting with them and it's not landing because I don't know them well enough. Simple as. You know, subscribing to them. Why are they going to subscribe to someone that doesn't understand them? Why are they going to buy to someone? It was just the brand messaging was wrong. The pricing was wrong. The engagement was wrong. Me not knowing them fundamentally was actually one of the biggest problems. Okay, so I understand. I've done this. I've made mistakes with it. I've had to tweak it back, forward, front. And it took me 3-4 years to really get this business to work and really understand who the audience is. For Natalia Nicholson, Inspirational Gifts, where soy wax candles was my hero product. And it's this system that helped me make that business into a success, as it's done with Women in Digital Business. So what I want to talk to you about as we wrap up, I really want to talk to you about Empower, okay? Empower is a membership site that we put together that's got in-depth masterclasses, especially for underrepresented women. And the reason why I say and I home in on underrepresented women, I really felt like growing up, when I look at things like my money blueprints and what my parents taught me around money, and even just the things that we used to borrow money for and buy, it was just keeping us in debt and it wasn't actually really helping us grow. And these are things that, you know, in my younger years really affected me in terms of growing. Not having, you know, people around me that were role models that I could really learn off of in terms of, you know, mindset, goal setting, you know, believing in myself. there's so many different things. My first business was actually an online multicultural bookstore. So even being a part of programs, educational programs, where they didn't understand my audience, because my audience, what do they call, back those days, they would call it a minority. Not understanding my audience, because everything in terms of education and programs and help is scared at the masses. So I struggled with mentors, with educational programs, understanding me back then as a young Black woman and understanding who my audience was. You know, the world's now changed. People of color, whether that is beige, yellow, light brown, dark brown, it doesn't matter. People of color are the biggest consumers in the world. So organizations have woke up and realized that actually we need to be more connected with the end user to be able to go through the 3 objectives that I've just shown you, which is increasing customers, frequency, and transaction size. But when you're a small business and you support the economy, imagine that women start businesses at the fastest rates, okay? Black women start businesses at the fastest rates. We are supported the least. All women of color are supported the least, whatever shade of black or brown that you are. You know, a capital venture risk will, for every pound they donate, 13 pence goes to women. So by the time you put ethnicity in that, you've just gone below one pence. However, we are starting businesses at the fastest rate, especially in West Africa, South Africa, the Caribbean, especially in developing countries where resources are so rich and they are so high. Okay, we are innovative, we are thinking ahead of times, but we just don't have the support. So Empower is a way that I've put together a system that gives you that strategy, that gives you that structure, that pushes you and challenges you to think in a way that a multinational corporation thinks and uses the same strategies that big organizations use. It's taken me over 15 years of failure to really understand some of the things that some people just know, because if you know, you know, right? So that's the reason for Empower. So what I've done is I put together a 12-week program. So week 1 is really much the foundation, really getting into your mindset and preparing you for the journey ahead. Because I don't want you to keep going into that excitement, and rather than breaking through the resistance, you just keep finding things and programs and starting new businesses. Shiny object syndrome, I call it. I'm a stickler for it myself, like having 10 businesses on the go all at the same time. Thinking that if I spread it, it will bring in different revenues, rather than concentrating on one thing, monetizing it, and then moving on to the next. It's not going anywhere. We look at revenue growth plan, like having a plan for growth, exactly what I was talking about. These are my goals and having a plan for it. You know, we look at your core offering, looking at that transaction value, that transaction size, like what is it that you're offering, and really get you to look at that. You know, we help you to build a sales roadmap. What is the journey that you are going to carve out? How are you going to achieve your growth plan using your core offer, your core offering? You know, marketing strategies, you cannot use them all. Again, shiny object syndrome. Like I said, you've got TikTok, you've got Clubhouse, you've got podcasts, you've got Instagram, Reels. It's just YouTube. It's just too much. So you need to be able to have a focused marketing strategy for your business and your customers. You know, financial freedom, what does that look like? You know, now that we've done this, how are we using the analytics to make sure we're going to get you to financial freedom? It's about putting the big, I say it to myself all the time. Now it's time to put the big girl pants on. And this is what this program is. It's time to put the big girl pants on. Week 7, we now start looking at your business systems, your automations. It starts to get real technical, looking at your digital business process, okay? Looking at the procedure of automation, how you're communicating with all your audiences, because you've got different segments. Task delegations. Is it just you? Have you got a team? Is there family helping you? How are you leading? How are you getting tasks done? You know, your company scorecard. Without collecting data and analytics, you will just not be able to push through. You can do the research on who your customer is, but if you've got customers, if you've got a following, if you're engaging, you should be scoring everything. You know, think about boxers. Think about any sport. They have a game, they lose, and they will keep replaying and watching that game to improve. If we are not scorecarding what we're doing on all of our digital and marketing strategies, how can we get better? Because by week 12, you're going to have a scale and growth plan that's now made sure that you've got sales, you're viable, and you've tweaked everything to make sure you are at the maximum you can be, and then figure out, how do I scale this now? I'm ready and I've done everything that I need to do to actually scale it. So we put a lot of thought into this 12-week program, and this is what we've been through ourselves in terms of a strategy. And at the end of it, it's made a huge difference. Okay, astronomically huge difference, I promise you. You also get access to the private community. All of you can join Women in Digital Business, and we are there to support you. It might be free, but there's support in there, but we can't support everyone. That group has got thousands in it. Like, I'm not on this call by myself. I'm here with my community team. It's not just me. There are a team of us. But by joining Empower, there are additional bonuses that you will also get access to. So you'll get a private community just for the members of that group. You'll get bonuses within the membership site of how to build your 7-figure digital business using a 7-step system, to just really probe you, to just really to get you thinking, to open up for the strategy you're about to learn. We go through the 5 core principles successful entrepreneurs really go through and struggle with: mindset, money, management, managing yourself, your time, making sure that you can get things done. Marketing, really understanding principles of marketing and understand what the marketing role is. And lastly, mastery, how you master it all, how you master being a better person, your mantras, your goal setting. It's just really, really key. And each lesson within that 12-week program, you will get a summary of a playbook given to you with actionable steps during the 12-week program. And that's key. So what you're left with at the end of the program is a Bible. And the lessons can be heavy, so you'll get access to them every week, but that's why you get access to the membership site for a whole year. You will go back through some of the lessons and keep redoing them, because you're going to tweak your plan to make sure that you release all the soft spots in it. Sweet spots, sorry, not soft spots. Same difference. So there's a whole load of bonuses within the membership site with the program as well. And most important, you get an exclusive meeting with me. For those of you that sign up, you get an exclusive meeting with me in a group of 5. Okay, you become part of the monthly private accountability call. Within our membership group, you're going to be allocated into a group where there'll be other women that will hold you accountable, and you'll hold each other accountable. So you get to have an exclusive group coaching session with myself, and you also are a part of an accountability group. And one lucky person of whoever signs up as I'm running these sessions within the next 72 hours will win a one-to-one business conversation just with me. Okay, so you all might be wondering, okay, I've banged on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this membership site. You've probably all got a lot of questions, but for those of you that do sign up in the next 72 hours, the code on the screen that you can see that the community managers will put into the chat, you will get $100 off. And to be quite frank with you, the Empower membership site has been priced so competitively, it's a no-brainer. It's down to you. It really is. It's a complete and utter no-brainer. You're going to get $100 off if you use that discount code. The team's going to put it in the chat now. Make sure you copy and paste it. Okay? And I'm going to tell you the price. Don't worry. I know a lot of you are sitting there thinking, yeah, the price, and what is it? But be honest, if all what I just told you about with the Empower membership site and the program we put together was going to help you consistently increase your monthly sales, ask yourselves, would it be worth it? If all it did was take the overwhelm of marketing your products or your services and having a clear direction and plan, would it be worth it? Okay? If all I said was that Empower is going to make you take action in every single one of those lessons to get to where you want to be, would it be worth it? And I think a lot of you already know the answer to this. Okay? It gives a lot. Women in Digital Business, we pride ourselves at the amount of value that we give. We are not one of those communities that, give away a little workbook, a planner, give some type of information away and then keep upselling you. What we give you is amazing value. You see results. And those results are all for $297. And for today, with that code, you get $100 off, $100 off, which makes it a measly $197 for access to that for a year, for access to a community, for access to group coaching, for access to an accountability group. or the bonuses to keep you on track, the 7-step system and mindset of really how to get a 7-figure business, mindset things that you're dealing with. It comes with an awful lot. Right, thank you, everyone. I'm going to sign off now. It's been so lovely, all the messages, all the comments from everyone. And I really do look forward to seeing you in the community and within the membership site. So thank you so much. Thanks, Gloria. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Hannah. I'm so glad that you found it helpful. That makes my heart sing. It makes my heart sing that any of you that made sure that you could move forward with this. So thank you so much for turning up.